Hey, it's Pokaie. So today I want to go ahead and talk about Salmon. Salmon is, of course, a Splatoon 3 that I haven't really talked about or really made that many videos on in the past. Only videos I've really made, I think, were for a few rotations and, of course, Big Run. Of course, with the upcoming Big Run event probably coming in for fresh season, I will be making another video regarding that and, of course, another stream. But for right now, not much Salmon content from me. Regardless, though, I want to go ahead and just say a few improvements that I would like to see come to Salmon Run. Now, Salmon Run, of course, has stayed largely the same. Not much has really changed, admittedly. It's the same stuff. It's just new maps, a few new specials, and that's pretty much it. But I feel like a lot of it can be certainly improved. A few aspects I will say that can be improved is more likely the ability chunks. Now ability chunks in Salmon Run have been changed. We no longer get capsules full of like 10, 5, 3 ability chunks. We don't get that anymore. Instead, we get ability chunks through simply gear, which isn't all that bad. You know, that it does give us some benefits, including, you know, extra ability chunks in that gear in case it's actually really good, you know, chunks. But the downside is that if you go ahead and check rewards and bonuses and that there isn't many, you know, clothing options down that line, then you aren't really getting that much ability chunks. Now, of course, you could grind out for, I would say, 2 hours worth of Salmon Run and, you know, win all your waves or your shifts or whatever you call them, and, you know, get as far as you can in your bonus meter to get the max amount of rewards, you know. But I feel like Salmon Run can be too brainless and mindless at times to, you know, to quantify doing that. Now, some people, I think, like Chase, do grind Salmon Run, and props to him, honestly. I can never do it, honestly. I genuinely can't. It is way too tough for me, and I don't know, even though I made it to executive, I haven't really passed that at all. But regardless, I feel like reintroducing the ability chunks into the game could be beneficial. You know, it could be beneficial. Sure, it may clog up the bonus meter a bit more, but I feel like it could be a better option to get more ability chunks, especially for those that really just, you know, only play Salmon Run for the chunks. It could be a better option than just simply grinding out for like an hour or two of Salmon Run. Apart from that, though, I want to say that Kohozuna or Salmon Boss, big guy thingy, whatever you call it, I feel like we should also get ability chunks depending on how far we make it in, you know, by beating that boss. Now, of course, we get scales from the boss, which are very hard to come by all in itself, but I feel like what they could do is implement a system where certain, like, let's say certain bosses, right, during a big run, we'll say, so it's, you know, event based, certain bosses during a big run will have certain attributes attached to them. Say they pump out their artillery more, where it's like Stinger can shoot lasers faster or shoot longer or whatever, right? So obviously that'd be acquired by special power up. So since a lot of the bosses in Salmon Run are special based, you know, they end up borrowing specials from the main game. I feel like what they could do is, let's say if you beat, I don't know, maybe 10 or so bosses that, you know, have, like, say, like a glowing effect to them and have a special power attribute, you know, attached to them, then at the end of your shift you get 5 extra bonus special power-up, you know, things. Now, of course, this can be different for any number of abilities, and sure, it can be very selective to a very few of them, but I feel like it could be interesting just to see, you know, just sort of like a unique take on Salmon Run, you know, to keep things lively and fresh, and to, you know, mix it up occasionally. I feel like that could be a really, you know, interesting thing that I would definitely want to play, and that would really be great for the game, considering you get more ability chunks that way. Apart from the whole ability chunks stuff, because admittedly ability chunks is just a small portion of the game, I want to talk about Salmon Run only specials. Now, in story mode, we have a story mode only special, which is Splashdown. That's like the first ever, you know, story mode only special, I think, or anything really we've ever had in any Splatoon game, which is crazy. You know, in hindsight, that's crazy. You know, the fact that we don't have Splashdown in the base game is great, because Splashdown, admittedly, not that great in the current landscape of Splatoon 3. I think it'd be very unhealthy. But regardless, story mode or Alterna, whatever you want to call it, has Splashdown only there. What I feel like they could do for Salmon Run then is have special only Salmon Run specials, where, you know, let's say we get 10 missiles that only lock onto bosses, but are only effective on bosses that have an exposed weakness. So let's say, you know, Steelhead, Steel Eel, fly fish to an extent. I can feel, yeah, it'd be kind of funny, admittedly, to, you know, shoot 10 missiles back at a fly fish. It'd be kind of funny. But I feel like it could be very interesting to see, you know, Salmon only specials in the game, considering we can have so many. You know, we're getting Kraken pretty soon. That could be an interesting thing to add to Salmon Run, and we are going to be getting probably a few more new specials up in upcoming patches, you know. So I feel like, you know, just reintroducing, you know, specials into Salmon Run a little bit, or introducing new ones, of course, could be very healthy for the game, since, you know, Splashdown, I feel like, ugh, man, without that in Salmon Run has become a little bit more tough, which I love the challenge, but I would love to have Splashdown back in the mode. But like I said, you know, like, having Salmon only specials, like, let's say Stingray, or 10 missiles, or Splashdown, the hell, even the original Killer Whale, could all be really helpful for Salmon Run, you know, make things easier. And now, of course, they don't have to do this, and I'm praying that they don't, because it could probably maybe, you know, spark something in the community, but, apart from that, though, the last thing I want to talk about is the potential for having certain skills be unlocked in Salmon Run only. Like, now, you can say this is kind of similar to the ability chunks that we already have in the game, you know, Last Ditch Effort, Ninja Squid, all that stuff. But what I feel like they could introduce into Salmon Run is the ability to have maybe like 5-time use or 1-time use abilities, where it's like where you are able to carry 2 eggs at once, or perhaps throw farther, or, you know, get, you know, ink recovery up or something like that. Some gear ability boost, you know, that you can use in Salmon Run to help with your odds at, you know, getting through the mode. Now, of course, this would make the mode 1,000 times easier, but I feel like the easiest fix to this would be by making them only dropped during Kohozuna waves, or extra waves, whatever they're called. During those special waves, they will be dropped, and it is a random, you know, like maybe like, let's say 1 out of 5 chance you're even gonna get one, you know. So I would say, you know, make them rarer than scales, but more valuable, you know, because it could be helpful, you know, it could be helpful, and it could incentivize people who, you know, necessarily don't want to spend an hour or half an hour, you know, grinding on Salmon Run for chunks, to see if they can try their hand at getting some of these valuable gear abilities, so that it makes the grind easier. You know, Splatoon is a very grind heavy game, and in the past we've had cheaters that have literally hacked the game and then get banned and then complain about it, all because they hacked the game for trying to get more ability chunks. Now, of course, I'm completely against that. You know, if you're gonna grind the game for ability chunks, that's fine, but do it only for ability chunks that don't really matter, you know, like sub defense or whatever, and special saver, admittedly, like obviously, if you cheat in Splatoon in any way, don't do it. That's just dumb. But I feel, you know, going back to what I said, though, I feel like it could just be interesting, though. All these different dynamic things added to Salmon Run. Like, Salmon Run can be improved so much. And it's kind of sad to see that, like, we aren't getting many changes to Salmon Run in exchange for multiplayer, which, of course, multiplayer is, like, the big, you know, woohoo of the entire game. But I feel like Salmon Run just deserves a little bit more love, you know? So I feel like introducing a few of these changes, or maybe balance updates to weapons and specials and all this other stuff, could be super helpful for the game, and just, you know, kind of bog down the grind of the entire game as a whole, you know, just in case for those players that, well, you know, want ability chunks but don't really want to spend 2 hours grinding for Kohozuna, you know. But let me know what you guys think, though. I mean, would you guys want to see any of these changes implemented into Salmon Run? Let me know, please, by all means, let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, though, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.